Lisbon is known for its charm, its food, and its hills. So what happens when you bring a 6-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a stroller into the mix? Spoiler, it was mostly worth it. This is the story of our unforgettable family adventure through Lisbon, with castles to climb, pastéis to devour, and just enough chaos to keep things interesting. Let's get into it. If you're in the middle of your Lisbon research, you may have come across a few videos about how insane the airport is, and they're all true. I'll be doing more videos about this very topic in the near future, so stay tuned for those. What I can tell you now is plan to stay in the passport line for at least an hour, sometimes 2 or even more, depending on when you arrive. The same goes for when you leave. It's no joke when they tell you to arrive a few hours early. Heed those warnings and maybe even add an hour or two. We decided at the last minute to bring a $50 umbrella stroller along with us. Amazon link in the description. And let me tell you, that was probably the most valuable thing we bought for the entire trip. It got us into the priority line when we arrived and when we left. That right there saved us at least an hour of waiting in line each way. Stay tuned for a more in-depth video on Lisbon International, and I'll tell you all the secrets and tips we learned while we were there. Another video I'll be doing in the near future is a review of our hotel, the Martinhal Chiado. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on that one. I'll go into detail on just how amazing this hotel was for our family of 4. As they say, location, location, location. This place was close to everything. If we couldn't walk to it, an Uber could get there quick and cheap. Much cheaper than taxis, which were also cheap, and cheaper than their local app, Bolt, too. We rented the Superior Deluxe Studio, which has a king-size bed and a bunk bed for the kids. It also has a full kitchen, and most clutch, they had a washer-dryer combo. Our room came with breakfast every morning, and the staff was some of the most attentive and accommodating we have ever come across. There were 2 adjacent kids areas, one with a rock climbing wall where parents could watch their kids let off some steam, and another where parents could drop their kids off and go explore some kiosques and try some local ginja. Suffice it to say that one less thing we need to do next time we visit Lisbon is hotel research, because this place has it all, in spades. Now, let me take my rose-colored glasses off for a moment and share with you some misconceptions we encountered while researching and then actually experiencing Lisbon as a family. For one, when we were researching, we saw video after video about how kid-friendly Lisbon is. And while that's true 100%, some things weren't so obvious. In many videos, it seemed like there were playgrounds at every corner. That's definitely not true. While there are a few, most of them are private. There are only a handful of public playgrounds, and of the few in the Chiado area, even fewer were actually clean and free from homeless people. Which leads me to my next point, the homeless. While there weren't as many as in places like Paris, or especially back home in Philadelphia and New York or Los Angeles, there were enough that my kids noticed. There are also a lot of videos of rude people and rising crime. Although I can't provide statistics, I can confirm that we didn't encounter any rude residents. If there were any rude people, they were other tourists. And we felt as safe walking around Lisbon as we did walking around Maui, or even Disney World for that matter. I'm always walking around with my head on a swivel, and never once did I sense any imminent threats lingering about. One last misconception was that the more local rideshare service app Bolt was easier and cheaper than Uber. We didn't find that to be the case. In all instances, Uber was by far the better service. It was more readily available, quicker, and cheaper. And the app performed much better too. We were mainly in Lisbon for a wedding, which was held at a remote location, and where Bolt was nowhere to be found, Uber was as reliable as ever. Perhaps the best way to experience a city is by booking a hop-on, hop-off bus ticket. I did it in Hong Kong, which I talked about here. And we did it as a family in Lisbon, and let me tell you, it was totally worth it. We were able to hit up all the sites within Lisbon. Cascais and Sintra were separate. We saw Castle St. George, we saw all the sites in Belém, we saw the Marquês de Pombal Monument, and Park Eduardo VII. We got to shop along Avenida de Liberdade, and it also takes you to the aquarium and the cable car ride. There are 3 bus companies that I could point out: City Sightseeing Lisbon, the one we used, Yellow Bus Tour, and Lisboa Sightseeing by Grey Line. There's probably others, but these were more prevalent, so I would recommend using one of these 3. In fact, I would probably go with Yellow Bus because they seem to have the most buses and they were the least crowded. City Sightseeing Lisbon has 3 lines: green, red, and blue. They're all included in the €33 price per adult. I believe kids 4 and up are discounted a bit, and kids under 4 are free. And if you do go with either City Sightseeing Lisbon or Lisboa Sightseeing, make note that both buses are red and look almost exactly the same, but they are different companies. We made that mistake. Once you get used to the system though, it's smooth sailing and you can see all the sights at your own pace. I can't recommend it enough. The first main attraction we visited was of course the Oceanario de Lisboa, their world famous aquarium. The kids could not wait to get there, and when we were in, they were just in awe of all the exhibits and all the marine life. They were especially drawn to the otter exhibit and the sharks. We've been to quite a few aquariums: Boston, Baltimore, Long Beach, California, Camden, New Jersey, New York City, Tokyo, and Seoul, and this one always ranks at the top in our book. It is without a doubt a must visit, especially with kids. Next, we took a round-trip ride on the cable car, or Telecabine Lisboa. It's a novel attraction and a nice way to see the city and the huge Tagus River outlet, but it is a little bit outdated, especially compared to the Disney Skyliner and other cable cars I've been on. Still, it's a nice way to kill some time, rest your feet, and add a little thrill to the trip. At the time of this video, there was some major construction going on with the Belém Tower. You can go down to the grounds and see it, but it's surrounded by scaffolding and you couldn't go inside. But the areas around the tower are still operating as normal, and you cannot go to the Belém area without braving the lines at Pastéis de Belém. It's 100% worth it. Lisbon is known for its pastel de nata, and Pastéis does them the best hands down. It's worth noting too that there are times when the lines are manageable. If you're able to keep track of Lisbon's holidays, especially their bank holidays, then you'll know when Lisbonians are actually working and not hogging the pastries for themselves. Just kidding. Sort of. We were lucky to go there on a Wednesday afternoon and waited a whole 10 minutes for a table. Much better than the average hour wait time. My 3-year-old son was insistent on visiting the castle, so we made our way to Castello de Salor, and let me tell you that the hop-on hop-off bus is the way to get there. They drop you off right at the entrance. Also, as with all the other Lisbon videos that tell you to book your tickets online, book your tickets online. And don't do it last minute either. If you get them a day in advance, you'll guarantee yourself entrance, and you'll skip that long ticket line. Just stroll on over to the ticket scanners towards the left and walk right in. The views are spectacular. You can see the entire city from the grounds, and if you dare climbing up the steps to the watchtowers, you'll get an even better view. But fair warning, those steps are steep and narrow, not for the faint of heart, and if you've been ascending Lisbon hills all day, those steps can do a number on your thighs and calves. Oh, and like all the other videos you've seen, yes, wear your best comfortable walking shoes. The only other time I've had feet this sore was after canvassing Manhattan all day. My son was a little disappointed that there were no knights in armor displays, but when he saw the cannons, he quickly forgot all about that. The castle and the grounds are a wonderful exhibit of Lisbon and European history, and there's no better setting for them than this. One other tip I almost forgot: if you do have kids under 12 years old, they're free, but they still need their own ticket or QR code to scan at the entrance, so make sure they have one. Best way to do that is to get tickets on the official Castello de Salor site, link in the description. We got tickets from a private company and we almost weren't able to get in. However, since it was the end of the day and the guard was nice, he let us in anyway. So don't make our mistakes. If you are in the downtown area of Lisbon, you are in shopper's paradise. From Avenida de Liberdade to Príncipe Real to Chiado to Bairro Alto and Castello de Salor. You can find everything from hole-in-the-wall mom-and-pop shops to the most high-end retailers in the world. One place we were impressed by was a local clothing store called La Paz in Chiado. They had some great pieces there, and the service was fantastic. In Bairro Alto, my daughter designed a bracelet for herself at Mel's studio. They were very attentive to her and made sure she found exactly what she was looking for. All in all, the shopping experience in Lisbon is hard to beat. The prices are great, relative to the rest of Europe. The service is unmatched, and the environment is beautiful, full of character and charm. Unless you find yourself at the timeout market during an off-peak time, don't bother going. The lines are so long, the wait for your food is even longer, and the quality is average. The locals all say it's just a tourist trap, and for the most part, it is. You can find way better just about anywhere. If you do stay at the Martinhal Chiado, you are very close to one of the best burgers we've had in a long time. Head down to Vicenta and thank me later. My wife got the burger. I got the picanha steak. Both were excellent. The only drawback was that it wasn't super kid-friendly. So if you have one of those buggers that only eat chicken nuggets as we do, this might not be the place for them unless you bring an Uncrustable or two. Other places we enjoyed were Bar 1855 Gin Garden, which was the hotel's restaurant. Their chicken flatbread sandwich is quite delicious, and their buffet breakfast, which was included in our stay, is well worth it. Pizzeria Tapas La Familia is a great spot for the family to have a pie. They have a wide selection, and all their ingredients are super fresh. It's really close to the Praça do Commercial Plaza, so if you're walking around over there and get a little peckish, go check it out. For a great seafood dinner, check out Portugalia in Cais de Sodré. Chimarrão is an excellent Brazilian steakhouse, and I'm not sure if they still offer it, but Arigato, located near the aquarium, used to offer all-you-can-eat sushi. If you end up there, let me know in the comments if they still do. Some signature Portuguese foods you need to try, if only once, are percebes, gooseneck barnacles, bacalhau de brás, salted codfish, any Portuguese sausage, including blood sausage, sardinhas grelhadas, grilled sardines, and of course the aforementioned pastel de nata, Portuguese egg custard pastries. I'm sure I'm forgetting a ton of other places, but this should be a good starting point. I know all the Lisbon videos say that tipping is appreciated but not required, and the last time I visited 7 years ago, that was very much the case. But I felt this time around it was more anticipated. You weren't frowned upon if you didn't tip, which I didn't on a couple of occasions. But I did feel that split second of hesitation when a server is unsure whether you're going to leave a tip or not. So just keep it in mind that while again it's not required, it is something they're looking for more nowadays. One thing I noticed during all my time spent there is that like many Europeans, the Portuguese are tactful and polite. They know when to be serious and they know when to party and let loose. They know when to speak up and when to stay quiet. They're humble and reserved for the most part, but when a Benfica versus Sporting match is on, it's an entirely different atmosphere. For tourists, it's an amazing place to visit. They're welcoming and proud, but they don't throw it in your face. They smile at a bom dia and get almost giddy over an obrigado. They make you feel like you belong without overwhelming you. They give you just enough attention while letting you be at the same time. I feel comfortable as a tourist every time I visit, and you just can't put a price on something like that. By comparison, I've been to Paris twice, and though I love it, it feels a little like work trying to get the locals to open up. In Lisbon, it doesn't feel like that at all. Whether you have kids, are a couple in love, traveling alone, or crossing off bucket list retirement destinations, Lisbon is one place I recommend visiting for any travel enthusiast. From the wide variety of places to stay, to the great shopping experiences, the beaches, which we didn't even get to enjoy this time around, and to all the historic and educational sites and the amazing culinary culture, Lisbon is a traveler's dream. Just be sure to plan for your arrival and departure at Lisbon International, and do a little planning, especially when it comes to the more popular sites like the St. George Castle and Pastéis de Belém. Skip the timeout market and try that hop-on hop-off bus. And don't forget to subscribe so you know exactly when I drop my videos on the Martinhal Chiado Hotel and how to beat Lisbon International. Until then, this is Kelly, your trusted vacation agent, wishing you safe travels.